So I ordered these pants from Zara from the men's section because I love the men clothes better than the females clothes. I'm not calling myself a tomboy or anything like that. It's just male clothes are just more simple. And female clothes, it's like there's just a lot of cleavage going on and all of that. And I think you guys know me by now. I like wearing high neck everything because it's just my vibe. And then long sleeves, right? But as for my bottoms, I really love corduroy pants. And I can never find what I'm trying to look for in the female section. So what do? Well, I went to the men's section and I saw these pants and I freaked out because I was like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I wanted for so long. It only came in a size small, medium, and a large. So I kind of freaked out because at that point I'm like, okay, if a small doesn't even fit me in a female section, how is a small going to fit me in a men's section, right? Or at least that's how I thought it. So I'm like, you know what? You can shrink corduroy pants because I've done it before, and you can actually shrink them in the dryer. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to order these right now, shrink them in the dryer, and then it'll shrink because I've done that with a lot of my clothes. But guys, when it actually came, I didn't even have to do that. It fit me just perfect. And I was like, okay, this doesn't make any sense to me. And then I realized it only fits me because I have a diaper butt. So I was like, okay. Hey guys, so in this video I really wanted to be talking about what no one tells you about an overactive bladder, or even incontinence for that matter. And why I wanted to be talking about this is because I personally find that not a lot of people talk about it, and not a lot of people talk about their experiences with honestly taking a shit or peeing. So you know what? I will. So I know you guys are out there, but no one's going to talk about it openly. So you know what? I will. I will keep advocating for those who wear adult diapers just like me, just to continue on with their goddamn day. But why I wanted to film this video was because I wanted to put my voice out there once again and kind of speak to those of you who have an overactive bladder, whether you have MS or you don't, because I know what it feels like to feel alone, in terms of feeling alone, of not having anyone to talk to about your health, or not feeling comfortable for that matter, right? And if you're watching my video right now and you feel that very way right now, what are you doing? Message me on Instagram because I would honestly love to talk to you. I would never judge you, so you can tell me the most embarrassing thing and I wouldn't even care. I'll just be there to support you because you know what? We're in this together and we'll get through this. Before I even begin this video, you guys already know what I'm going to say. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. I think it'd be really cool, and hope you guys enjoy this video. Now, I wanted to list this first because I personally find that this is really significant and important. For me, I personally find that, I found that having an overactive bladder at the age of 19 was the very first time I was experiencing an overactive bladder, right? But I had a hard time accepting it, and because I had a hard time accepting it, all of the other things that I'm going to talk about in this video, it kind of screwed up with me in a sense because it took me longer to realize that I needed to wear an adult diaper, or it took me longer to gain that self-confidence. If you're watching my video right now and you have an overactive bladder, one thing I know that will help you is acceptance. Accepting yourself as you are, because I don't know if it sounds cliche, I don't know, but it's like accepting yourself as you are makes you feel less disappointed for when you do wet yourself. And this is something that I know for a fact because I've had the experience with it. Like heck, I wet my bed just last night. I was so frustrated because I woke up at 5:30 this morning just to wash my bed sheets. But I was okay with that because I accepted the fact that this is going to keep happening if I have soy milk past 9 p.m. I didn't even have soy milk actually. I had water, but yeah. The one thing I know will help 100% is if you just accept and understand the fact that you have an overactive bladder and it's not your fault. It's honestly not your fault, and this is something doctors are not going to tell you about. Accepting the fact that I have an overactive bladder was so difficult for me because no one was talking about it. And the main reason why I thought to bring up acceptance is because doctors don't talk to you about this stuff. Heck, doctors don't talk to you about your emotions. They'll probably prescribe you a pill for that. But yeah, acceptance is something that doctors don't talk about because there's no pills for you to magically start accepting everything. And this just gets into my next point. So you don't need pills for your overactive bladder, but doctors are not going to tell you that doctors, what are they going to do? Well, they're going to prescribe you pills to help treat your overactive bladder. But this is because doctors are just too quick to just prescribe you shit that you don't even need. And yeah. Almost like the time my doctor prescribed me prednisone on September 17th, 2019. And yes, I'm going to remember that date because I talk about this a lot in my videos, and I don't even care if I annoy you guys, but I talk about it because this is just something that's just really bothered me so much. And this was the very moment where I actually realized that pills were not what I needed for my overactive bladder. In fact, what I needed, I wrote this down, I forgot what I wrote. Give me a second. What I realized was the fact that doctors were just only playing a game with me and making me believe that I needed pills to treat my overactive bladder, in which I did not. I remember so many instances I had at the hospital, but I still remember when my hematologist, she prescribed me, when my, what am I saying? I still remember when my hematologist at Sunnybrook, she prescribed me Mirabetric, and when she prescribed me Mirabetric, she told me I would have to take it every day, right? And I took the Mirabetric pills for 3 days. It wasn't for a long time, but I was still consuming them, right? And when I took them for 3 days, I started to feel really sad, almost depressed. For me, what was so difficult about my hematologist even prescribing me Mirabetric was the fact that I didn't know who to talk to about this with. And what was so frustrating about that was the fact that I had no one tell me to not take pills to improve my overactive bladder. Rather, I had people just tell me to do what the doctors would say and to take the pills. Everyone around me just stayed silent when I would ask them, or if they were aware of what I was going through, right? And why I think they stayed silent is because they would have taken overactive bladder pills, so Mirabetric, had they had an overactive bladder. But the thing is, I'm not like everyone else. This was the very day where I realized that they were just only playing a game with me that I was just not about to play. Like, it's like, that's just how I took it. It's like, you know what, you're sick, so you take all of these medications because medication is the only way to heal. That's the only thing I could tell you right now. And yeah. So basically, if you feel like taking the pills that doctors prescribe you for your overactive bladder, I say go for it. Do you, and I'll do me. But doing me is clearly not taking Mirabetric. Because, I don't know, I'm just not keen on the idea of taking more meds when I don't need to be. Now, what was going to happen after I made the decision to not take the Mirabetric pills? Well, this just leads into my next point. This was something no one ever told me about. They just told me to take the pills to not have that overactive bladder anymore. But let's be real, did you care anyways? No, so I had to make the decision to honestly wear adult diapers at the age of 21. And that was really frustrating for me because I didn't understand why I was wearing something that a newborn baby was wearing, but except these were adult diapers, not the baby diapers. But also bear in mind, I got diagnosed with multiple sclerosis when I was 19, so it wasn't until like 2 years after where I realized that I needed to start wearing adult diapers. So that was horrible for me because for 2 years I would always have to like think about when to use the bathroom or when not to go outside because my bladder was just gonna act up on me. But the thing is, no one tells you these things. No one tells you about adult diapers, and no one really advocates for them other than me. People are just so often just wanting to make the easiest decision to stop an overactive bladder, so taking pills in this case, that they won't even consider the fact that maybe we can change most of the issues that we're experiencing right now with an overactive bladder through the decisions that we make. And this just gets into my next point. So what goes in must come out. But I mean, doctors are not going to tell you that. So my question is, why let doctors tell us or prescribe us a prescription, whatever, to help us treat our overactive bladder when we know very well that we can change most of it ourselves? So for me, I went vegan on January 1st of 2019. It's going to be 2 years. It's crazy. But why? One of the reasons why I went vegan was not just because of my egg allergy and not just because of multiple sclerosis specifically, but it was more because of my bladder. because I knew what I was consuming was giving me that overactive bladder. And I'm going to actually talk about 3 foods very briefly that were not sitting well with me and I just cut out of my diet. And though I have an overactive bladder right now, my shit nor my pee smell bad, and I think it's because I cut out these foods that weren't sitting well with me. So almond milk was number 1. Almond milk was something that took me a while to realize I shouldn't have been having. I know almond milk is healthy, but I mean, for some reason it just wasn't sitting well in my stomach. But eventually I cut out almond milk and my bladder ended up being a little better in terms of the consistency. I don't know if that sounds gross. The next thing was soy milk. Guys, I was obsessed with soy milk. Oh my gosh. I did everything for soy milk. I was walking down sidewalk and like so much construction is happening, right? And yes, I'm like a mess right now, but literally my white shirt, this, and somehow I can feel that, and this hurts. But yeah, that was just one of the instances I had trying to buy soy milk, but ended up falling down. But you know what, let's not talk about it. So just going vegan was my way to make sense of my body, not just with my multiple sclerosis and not just because I'm deathly allergic to eggs, but also because my bladder was not liking the foods that I was eating. Foods were something that I did find that oftentimes did mess with my bladder. And my question for you guys is, for those of you who have an overactive bladder, and if it's really bad, what exactly are you guys eating? Like, I'm not going to tell you guys what to eat because I know all of our bodies are different. So what works for you may not work for me, and what works for me may not work for you. Like, eggs could be for one instance, because eggs, if I have that, I think I'm actually going to pass away. I just really think that you guys should pay attention to your diet and what you're actually eating. Sum that part of it up, just basically test out foods that work for you. Like, even if you really love having a certain type of food, try to test it out and see how your bladder acts. And try to test yourself out instead of having a doctor do it with you with freaking pills. So yeah, I'm not getting over that, I'm sorry. Guys, we're really not alone. Like, I mean, my very first video I filmed of, I think I called it multiple sclerosis and an overactive bladder. That video has 40K views on it. I don't know how that happened. I posted that about a year ago. So that goes to show that we're really not in this alone, because if that many people actually watch that video, that just means the vast majority of those viewers who view that video probably also have an overactive bladder. I actually wouldn't be surprised, only because there's been quite a few of you guys who've messaged me on Instagram to talk about your overactive bladder, which I think is so interesting. I love when you guys share your experiences with me. Now, this is clearly something doctors don't tell you, but I mean, I don't blame them, because it's like, why would they tell you that? But yeah, just don't care what anyone else thinks. For me, I think why this is easy for me is because I've been bullied all my life prior to university, that it's like I've learned to not care what other people think of me, because I'm not the norm. And then multiple sclerosis hit, and then I was clearly not the norm. And if you honestly need to hear from anyone, I'd rather it come from me. Like, what anyone else thinks. Because guys, you know what? I get it. I know what it feels like to literally pee out in public while trying to walk across the street. I know what it feels like to have your poo rolling down your freaking legs. And yes, rolling, because poo comes out in pebbles a lot of the times. It's embarrassing. It's so embarrassing. But then, at the same time, the one thing that always gets me through my day is I'm never going to see these people ever again, because it usually happens out in public, right? And in public, I don't know these people. I just see people, and that's that. And right now, I'm usually okay because I wear an adult diaper everywhere I go, because my overactive bladder is still there. But with that said, though I had to teach myself to not care what anyone else thought about me having an overactive bladder, it was difficult. It was difficult because what I was trying to be okay with was something that other people were not okay with. Why they weren't okay with it, I don't even know, but that was just a sign to not have those people in your life. So that's pretty much it to my video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. So subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Follow me on Instagram and check out my blog. I'll post links down below as always. And I will be posting my next video. If not Friday, it'll be this Saturday. Just to make up for not posting last week because of Teachers College. But yeah, so bye guys. Ever since I was a kid, my shit has always came out in pebbles. Like little circles. Like I'm not even joking. It's like a bird that just poos. And it's annoying because sometimes it has rolling down my pants for when I did discover adults diapers. Something I never told you guys. Oh my god, that's embarrassing. I'm probably gonna delete that.